Good morning to all those members who have logged into the platform, and to our staff and some guests, Department of Health. May I check, Ms. Machalamba, where I'm audible, where I am?
Good morning, Chair. Yes, you are. Thank you.
When we start with the meeting, I'll explain my dilemma. Hence, this is all you can get, no video that is possible from where I am. Thank you. Once more, good morning, honorable members. Good morning to the visitors who are here to make a presentation to the Department of Health, and good morning to our staff. We are in floods here in KZN, especially where I am south of Durban. So I just have to make do with what I have because I can't move out of this very deep rural KwaZulu-Natal. If I do get a challenge, there will be some leaders here who could take over. But I'm assured by Ms. Machalamba that where I am, it's audible. I've tried to go to one of the better mountains here to look and to get the reception. We are in this meeting, honorable members, that has been requested by some citizens, responsible citizens dealing with certain programs with the maternal and child health. Especially, I would take it that it focuses somehow on that and the dignity and respect for young girls. So we have invited the Department of Health to give us their program and responses to this. So I will explain how I would wish that we handle this matter, and I would hear if members would agree with that. But welcome to this meeting, which I know some of the colleagues have got some apologies. For those who are presenting to us, this is an oversight week, and some of our members are also tasked with other responsibilities, other portfolio committees, visiting, participating elsewhere. So we may not have a full complement of the House, but some of us are here, and I've noticed that more than 5 of our portfolio committee members are here. Having welcomed you, honorable members, we take that this meeting is taking place within the precinct of Parliament. It's how all virtual meetings are also conducted. So all rules that apply to the formal sitting of National Assembly committees will also apply to our meeting. May I therefore request Ms. Machalamba to take us through one, the attendance and the presence of members and the apologies. Thereafter, then she can fly to the agenda for our meeting for today. Over to you, Ms. Machalamba.
Good morning and thank you, Chair. Present is Dr. Lomo, Ms. Kreko, Ms. Clark, Dr. Leroux, Mr. Mutubatsi, Ms. Mailola, Ms. Tafeni, Mr. Van Staden. I've received apologies from Ms. Shabangu, Ms. Sene, Ms. Kumalo, Dr. Litlape, Mr. Zungula, and Ms. Maray. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much, honorable members. If platform was allowing, I would have asked for one honorable Tafeni, so that we could see her. The other honorable member, who's Tafeni, who's there? The new one.
Thank you, Chairperson. I'm Honorable Tafeni from Economic Freedom Fighters. I'm deployed by the alternative member, Mama Paul Nita, to this committee today.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks for showing our face. You are an alternate to the committee.
No, I'm not alternate. Alternate member is Mama Paul Nita Marais.
Oh, I see. Yes, yeah.
Yes.
There's another member also who's new in the committee. May I also recognize her? And maybe she thanks Honorable Tafeni.
Thank you very much, Chair. Thank you very much, Chair. This is Honorable Popi Raisibe Mailola. I will be the main member in the committee. I was just appointed 3 weeks ago by the Economic Freedom Fighters.
Thank you. Are you able to, is it allowing you where you are to show your video?
No, it's not allowing at the moment. I've got a bit of load shedding, Chair.
Okay. We accept that. Thank you very much. We welcome you. In the past 2 weeks, we had the Honorable Mare, the alternate member, but thanks that you are here now to participate in this meeting. Thank you. Ms. Machalamba, can you show us, we welcome you, honorable members. This is where you are to make your input also. Ms. Machalamba, can you show us the agenda for today?
Ms. Machalamba, am I the only one losing the chair? I am also load shedded at the moment.
I can hear you well, Honorable Teko. Did you struggle to hear me?
Yes, I struggled, Chair, but you are audible now. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks. Ms. Machalamba, I was requesting you to just share with us the agenda and read it also for members who may not be able to see or hear or read it.
Okay, Chair, I'll share it again. Can you see it now? Chair?
The problem, I had not removed one of the things here. Yes, I can see what you have. There's a briefing. Yes, after the attendance, there's a briefing by the team from Free Sanitary Pads
on their petition.
Yes.
Then after the briefing is the response by the Department of Health. Yes, Chair.
Yeah. Honorable members, I had requested that we put the agenda this way, that the presenters start first, and then before we can engage with their presentation, we hear what the department actually's response is on that presentation. Thereafter, we will then come in as members, having listened to both the department and the presenters. May I therefore find if, and then we can go for discussions, if that is acceptable, and if so, can I then confirm that honorable members can agree that we move with this agenda, and if they do, can I see by show of hands or by just mentioning your name and agreeing or not agreeing with the agenda or amending? Honorable members, back to you now.
Yes, Chair, my hand is up. I have indicated in the platform. I am also experiencing load shedding where I am. That's the reason I cannot flight the agenda at the moment. Have my video on at the moment, Chair. I move for the adoption of the agenda, Chair, as it is proposed. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, honorable members. Honorable Teko has moved for the adoption of the agenda. May I get a seconder?
Honorable Mutubati, I second, Chair.
Honorable Mutubasi, thank you very much. Seconded the agenda. Honorable members, we'll therefore would go with this program as actually adopted by the honorable members. I will request the presenters who probably might have forwarded their presentation either to our staff or they have it with themselves to start their presentations. Thereafter, the DG of the Department of Health will then follow. We will come after that as honorable members. In that order, please.
Recording in progress. Thank you, Chair. Good morning, Dr. Lomo, honorable members, everyone who has joined us this morning. Thank you so much to the honorable speaker, Toko Didiza, for heeding our call, pleading for a menstrual health rights bill and law, and mandating the various departments and portfolio committees to actually treat the matter of period poverty with the urgency that it deserves. Honorable members, I wish to read an article profiled by the Daily Maverick on our march in Pretoria and in Cape Town in August 2022. Digaledi, a grade 9 learner from Mamelodi in Pretoria, says she gets anxious every month when her menstrual cycle approaches. Her family, like countless others who are poor and low income, can't always afford to pay 14 Rand for a basic pack of sanitary pads. This means she either has to use unhealthy substitutes like newspapers and old rags or miss days at school. Although her school keeps a certain supply of pads, Dikeleti says they are expected to buy the pads, which they often can't afford. I quote, "To some of us, buying sanitary pads is a luxury. This is why we want the government to make free sanitary pads available in schools," close quote, says Dikeleti. My name is Nokzola Ndwandwe, and I'm a menstrual health rights activist and founder of Team Free Sanitary Pads. I will be pleading the case on behalf of over 31 organizations calling for a menstrual health rights bill and law. About myself, I am an award-winning menstrual health rights activist. I've been fighting for the eradication of period poverty for a very long time, after having experienced my own period stigmas in my own life. Since 2014, I was doing VAC work and I woke up one morning with severe period pains, and I was in a male-dominated team. And it was so unfortunate that I had to be rushed to the hospital. And when I got to the hospital, the doctor did a few scans and they said that I have endometriosis. At that time, I was not aware as to what endometriosis is or was, because when I got back to work the next morning, my illness became of interest to my male-dominated team. And that's when I thought, having been embarrassed by my period at that time, that it was time to deconstruct the narrative and end the stigma around menstrual health so that we can normalize the conversations on menstrual health, so that individuals and young women who go through similar experiences in either their workspaces or at school do not feel ashamed or embarrassed by their period. Team Free Sanitary Pads is a collective movement which demonstrates the urgent call for the South African government to prioritize women and girls with regards to allocating national government expenditure towards the supply of free sanitary pads across rural and urban schools, public toilets, higher learning institutions, in a similar model as condom supply. One of our major objectives is to make sure that sanitary pads and all menstrual products are as accessible as condoms globally. Having worked with global organizations, members of parliament, various political organizations, and NGOs in doing impact work in communities, whereby we host menstrual health rights workshops to educate women and young girls around matters on menstruation, particularly to deconstruct the narratives and the taboos, having worked also with church groups and church members to ensure that women and young girls have access to free menstrual products. However, we feel that it is not enough and we need more action, particularly from the government. We need a legislation, we need a framework or some form of structure that ensures that there is accountability both for the government and for civil society and the private sector when it comes to eradicating period poverty. And when it comes to accountability, we feel that specifically in terms of the distribution of menstrual products, we want quality menstrual products to be distributed in our communities, ensuring that the menstrual product meets certain specific standards like the SABS standards, SAPRA approval, whereby medical experts actually test the quality of menstrual products that are distributed in communities. Because we find that young girls grow up without having any form of women's health issues. However, once they start experiencing menarche, their first period, they use any type of menstrual products, not having any form of knowledge and information around the period products and the contents that included in the period products, which we find that particularly after certain months or perhaps a year, women find themselves with certain kinds of menstrual health related illnesses, either fibroids, PCOCs, heavy menstrual bleeding, severe period pains, which we have found that severe period pains are actually not normal. However, due to lack of education in society, women have normalized that, severe period pains are actually normal, but they're actually not. We find that women usually experience underlying health issues, like myself with endometriosis, whereby you experience severe period pains and heavy menstrual bleedings, and you cannot actually function during that time of the month or focus on your schoolwork or focus on the work at hand, which means that your period is actually hampering your ability to meet your career ambitions or to actually access quality education in schools, particularly for young girls and women in schools. Although we may be a registered nonprofit organization since 2019, Team Free Sanitary Pads is primarily aimed at pursuing the emancipation of young girls and women from a very grassroots approach since 2014, by also taking advantage of the power of social media in spreading awareness through pressuring the South African government to take action, particularly with our petition under the hashtag Team Free Sanitary Pads. We also hosted a march in August 2022, calling on the South African government to actually prioritize the eradication of period poverty. Yes, we acknowledge that we have a particular framework in the pipeline. However, we feel that there is lack of implementation because the framework merely represents a vision board rather than actually a structure which could actually attract buy-in from the private sector to actually invest in young girls and women, particularly when it comes to women's health from a very young age. I believe that if we actually invest in quality menstrual products distribution in schools and across all socio-economic spheres, we can actually curb illnesses that are also menstrual health related and sexual reproductive health related, such as your cervical cancer, such as your fibroids, endometriosis, which is often caused by the contents in the menstrual products, which are not even regulated in the retail sector, which is why we're calling for a menstrual health rights bill and law to actually implement some form of legislation which holds individuals, civil society, multinational organizations accountable for the period products that are actually sold in the market or even distributed by nonprofit organizations, because it is very concerning that women and young girls have to actually not only pay for the expensive gynecologist costs or even access medical aid due to the fact that their periods or the products that they're using are exacerbating the matters around period poverty. So we have this whole period poverty vicious cycle of actually not having access to the actual sanitary pad, but also when the government or even NPOs, without having knowledge or information around the period products, distribute these poor quality menstrual products, which often lead women to miss out on school, young girls and women to miss out on school and career advancement opportunities because of the poor quality menstrual products, which lead to menstrual health related illnesses, which we also need to be addressed by a menstrual health leave to actually accommodate women and young girls who actually experience severe period pains during that time of the month and other menstrual health related illnesses. So we feel that we're pleading with the government to actually take the matter with the urgency that it deserves. We also make use of social media, and we've often had members of parliament engaging under the fact that we need to have a menstrual health rights bill and law now more than ever. In fact, it's something that should have happened 30 years ago when South Africa entered into a democracy. Oppression shouldn't be something that is prevalent 30 years post apartheid, but we are faced with a dire situation whereby young girls are missing out on school due to lack of access to menstrual products and due to lack of access to clean water and safe sanitation in order to enjoy their period or that time of the month. The Team Free Sanitary Pads movement is a human rights cause. It is a fight to give women, young girls, and all menstruators essential female hygiene products in order that they may have equal opportunities, because we believe with over 31 organizations that no girl should ever miss school because of menstruation, no woman miss out on career advancement opportunities, because women missing out on quality education and career advancement opportunities has an adverse effect on the overall economy. It leads to unemployment. It leads to women experiencing mental health issues whereby they find themselves being discouraged in engaging in the economy. Our mission as Team Free Sanitary Pads movement is to ensure that young girls and women are not denied their dignity, nor are they hampered from career advancement opportunities due to lack of access to feminine hygiene products. We'd like to create awareness because we believe that education is important. Education around accreditation on the menstrual products, the quality of menstrual products, the contents in the menstrual products. We also believe that we need collaboration, particularly with the national government and the local government. We need all the various departments to actually work hand in hand in curbing the issue around eradicating period poverty. However, we believe that having a structure and having a regulation and actually having a policy framework that actually touches on specific details around menstrual health and hygiene management could actually accelerate in terms of implementation and in terms of impactful distribution of menstrual products in communities, and particularly the education around menstrual health. So we need the collective movement. We need civil society, individuals in society, the private sector, and the government to treat menstrual health with the urgency that it deserves, as it is often sidelined and it's overlooked, but it's actually a very critical issue in terms of achieving quality education and eradicating unemployment and eradicating poverty as a whole, in line with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Our objectives and vision is primarily women empowerment, keeping girls in education institutions and women in corporate spaces, leveling the playing field in government as well as business per the universal call for gender parity, whereby we deconstruct systematic non-inclusive practices based on gender relating to menstrual health. We need accommodative policies and workspaces that actually accommodate women during that time of the month, because the reality is that women often cannot function during that time of the month due to either menstrual health related illnesses, due to either severe period pains, or due to either not having access to something as basic as a period product, which is deemed as a luxury, because so far the South African government only scrapped VAT on sanitary pads and ignored the other period products, and which speaks volumes about how the government understands the issue around menstrual health. We believe that women should have access to a period product mix. Their rights should be protected when it comes to the type of period products that they should use in terms of the period products that actually work hand in hand with their bodies, because we all have different unique experiences when it comes to that time of the month. Unlike the media adverts that portray these toxic positive narratives around experiencing that time of the month, the reality on the ground is that women and young girls cannot afford to enjoy that time of the month because menstrual products are expensive, menstrual products are not regulated, and the South African government is still very slow to act around implementing the Sanitary Dignity Implementation Framework. We are often find that we have issues around corruption, whereby money set aside and allocated for distribution of free menstrual products in communities are often misused or mismanaged, or often deemed as wasteful expenditure, whereby certain provinces do not make use of the budget, and then the budget gets sent back to National Treasury. And having an accounting background, I understand that the policy around setting a budget is that in a country where the budget is zero-based and it cannot be pushed towards the next financial year, it means that when monies are sent back to National Treasury is of the opinion that the country does not need money set aside for the eradication of period poverty, which is not true. So we need the government and members of parliament to actually implement a grassroots approach when it comes to eradicating period poverty, and not just a theoretical approach whereby we have these reports that actually do not match the reality on the ground, which is that women and young girls are missing out on school, they're missing out on quality education, they're missing out on career advancement opportunities because they do not have access to quality menstrual products and the education around menstrual health and hygiene management. So we need more further engagement. We need the government and the Department of Health to actually regulate the type of information that is also distributed in campuses and universities, in schools, in community libraries, and social media spaces. In fact, we need medical experts to actually champion the call for a menstrual health rights bill and law, but essentially to champion the call for the eradication of period poverty in the same model as the condom supply, and in the same model as around eradicating matters around HIV and AIDS and sexual reproductive health and rights. Menstrual health is often overlooked, and I feel that it needs to be treated with the urgency that it deserves, which means that young girls need to be provided with the human right of accessing quality education and career advancement opportunity through the government prioritizing menstrual health and hygiene management. Possible ways that the South African government can actually accelerate the eradication of period poverty is actually to request the National Treasury to reduce wasteful expenditure elsewhere within the fiscal budget and actually make provisions for free menstrual products, and also perhaps propose a tax incentive for corporate organizations that actually engage and get involved in terms of eradication of period poverty, the education, the distribution, because these menstrual health rights workshops actually come with a lot of work. And, you know, I don't get paid for fighting to eradicate period poverty or actually educating young girls to take ownership of their bodies, to actually be informed around the period products, quality menstrual products that they use. This is a passion because it stems from the fact that we have a real issue in our hands, and it requires some form of addressing and some form of urgency, particularly from the government as well, because we are working as non-profit organizations on our side, but we also do not have all the resources or the manpower, nor do we have the socio-economic sphere reach in terms of going across the country and actually reaching the remote locations, the rural locations, which are often neglected. So we are pleading with the government to actually take the matter with the urgency that it deserves, and to actually also go at there and actually do the work at grassroots level, because we are also trying our best, but we feel that we need, you know, the support from the government. We need the resources. We need the funding. We need the education material that is actually regulated by, you know, the health department and medical experts, so that the information that is actually channeled out there is information that is useful and can actually impact young girls' life to actually make an informed decision about their future, but to also make an informed decision about their health. We also feel that the South African government needs to scrap VAT on all menstrual products, so that all menstrual products are treated as a basic human right, as an essential. You can support the Team Free Sanitary Pads movement by becoming a partner, donating, and sponsorship. But also, we'd like to actually propose that the South African government creates a menstrual health products manufacturing manufacturing plants, perhaps across provinces in the country, so that it can bring about job creation, but also it can normalize the conversation around menstrual health and hygiene management. As I touched on the fact that globally there is a lack of access to menstrual health, water, sanitation, and hygiene material, and menstrual health education. As a result, period poverty is prevalent. In South Africa, about more than 4 to 7 million girls, menstruators, and women are affected by period poverty. And most menstruators rely on unsafe and unhealthy alternatives, including the use of rags and newspapers, like the story of Dikeledi, a grade 9 learner from Mamelodi, who joined us in our march when we pushed for the Department of Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities to actually collaborate with us and champion the call for a menstrual health rights bill and law, so that young girls and women can enjoy a safe and a healthy period. Whilst there's been a tremendous success in bringing the South African government to commit towards menstrual health and hygiene management so far in the country, whereby our late former Finance Minister, Ntomboweni, made budget commitments to remove VAT on sanitary pads and set aside 157 million for free sanitary products for indigent schoolgirls, as well as women who cannot afford. We are still far from the major objective of eradicating period poverty and period stigma for all women in South Africa. And so we need more intervention. Activists and local NGOs' concerns is sustainability for our South African women and girls. Although a VAT removal has been plausible, inflation does play a major role in defining the purchasing power of consumers. We can make sanitary pads free. However, we need to ensure that in the long run, the South African government continues to prioritize women and young girls through budget policy tools and through a menstrual health rights bill and law and a legislation framework which ensures that the private sector invests in the eradication of period poverty, because we need the funds from the private sector, but we also need the mandated institutions such as the government, which are mandated by the Constitution to protect the human rights of South African citizens through lawmaking, through policy, through legislation, to also, collaborate and play their part in ensuring that there's actually harmony and there's actually collaboration when it comes to eradicating period poverty, that we all work together, that we all hold each other accountable, that it's not just a one-man show whereby the government is only doing the work, or civil society is only doing the work, or individuals in society are doing the work. I feel like we need to collaborate and have the pooling of resources and the pooling of information, and to actually accelerate the eradication of period poverty in the country. Also, South African activists and local NGOs are urgently calling for the RSA government, together with the RSA, the South African Parliament, to legislate the provision of menstrual health and hygiene management for young girls, women, and menstrual.
Hi. The presenter, are you aware that you are repeating the same story on the slide? And I see you are still on the background. But what you are saying, South African government establishing the law, the bill. Now, you are talking the same story. Can you go to the next slide? Because you have been talking for the past 20 minutes, and you are still showing that you are on the background. I don't know whether you are aiming to wrap up or what is this point here.
Chair. Thank you so much, Dr. Lomo. Yes, I am aiming to wrap up. Yes, I'm very well aware. There are positions just for emphasis. However, I am wrapping up just now. Thank you so much for that. So what we need the menstrual health rights bill and law to entail is, as I've mentioned, access to free menstrual products. We need inclusive social culture environment for all menstruators, taking into account the negative impacts on working menstruators. Also, conversations, very important. We need more research around menstrual health and hygiene management related issues. We need to actually have some form of collection of data, because currently we may have the information around the budget allocated across all provinces. However, we don't really have the specific information around as to how many young girls have been impacted, how many young girls are actually beneficiaries and are actually receiving the products on the ground, and are women and young girls benefiting from the sanitary dignity implementation framework. And also, we need to continue the formal communication between members and the civil society and government, and perhaps maybe look into having a commission of inquiry around the sanitary dignity implementation framework as to how come it has been taking so slow and it's been taking forever for the implementation to actually be impactful on the ground, particularly across various provinces in the country, and especially the Free State, whereby menstrual products have not been distributed for a specific financial year between 2020 and 2021, if I'm not mistaken, based on interactions with other committees as well. Also, we need to ensure that we have menstrual health leave for workers and scholars faced with menstrual health related illnesses, and we need a comprehensive, responsive approach to menstrual health and hygiene management. And we cannot continue to allow the lack of access to dignity to keep our girls out of school and women to miss out on career advancement opportunities. We believe, as Team Free Sanitary Pads and over 31 organizations, the young girls and women in South Africa need the Menstrual Health Rights Bill and law now more than ever. Thank you so much, Dr. Dlomo, Chair, and honorable members. Over to you.
The take-home message, honorable members, from Ms. Ndwandwe is that women miss out when they do a race. They have to stop and go, because either they don't go to school every day like boys, or they do not actually follow what would have been their career pathway easier because of those challenges. So that is focusing on that part and improvement, so that at least while there may be challenges in the world, but girls should not be even much at the back of the queue because they happen to be girls or young women. Department of Health, can you come in now and give us your responses?
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Good morning to you and to the honorable members, and also to Ms. Ndwandwe, and thank you for her presentation. I've got with me Dr. Leslie Bamford, who will be taking us through a few slides from the Department of Health. Over to you, Dr. Bamford.
Thank you, DG, and good morning to the honourable members of Parliament and the chair of the committee. Can you confirm that you can hear me? And then I have just a very small number of slides to share, and I'm hoping that the slides are now appearing on the screen.
Yes, they are. Please continue. Thank you.
So thank you very much for this opportunity. We have, I think, just 2 slides that do mostly focus on the issue of free sanitary pads. I think we do welcome the focus on menstrual health and hygiene, particularly with regards to raising awareness and improving information with regards to menstruation and related issues. We do view this as an important topic, and it is a topic that is included in our package of information and education around issues related to health promotion issues for adolescents and around sexual and reproductive health. And in this regard, particularly our school health teams play an important role in providing education particularly to young girls, to girl learners, and some of our other platforms, such as the BeWise platform, which is a platform that young people in South Africa can, a digital platform that young people in South Africa can use to access information. We also work with our colleagues in the Department of Basic Education to ensure that menstruation is one of the topics that is covered in the comprehensive sexuality education. And another area where we work very closely with DBE relates to environmental assessments in schools, working together to try and make sure that water and sanitation are available so that young girls can attend school during menstruation. I am then moving on to the very short presentation, which really provides an answer to the question of how our department contributes to menstrual health and hygiene management, and what are we doing specifically with regards to the issue of provision of free sanitary pads. So government has put a system in place to address period poverty by mandating the Department of Women, Youth and Persons with Disability to lead on the sanitary dignity implementation framework, which was established in 2019. So the Department of Women, Youth and People with Disabilities coordinates the relevant government departments and stakeholders under the Sanitary Dignity Program, with a focus on providing learners in quintile 1 to 3 schools. So in other words, the no fee paying schools, as well as farm and special schools with free sanitary pads, sanitary products. And they do this with a view to ensuring that girl learners can attend school in an uninterrupted fashion during whilst they are menstruating. So obviously the key department in terms of implementing this is the Department of Basic Education, because they are best placed to provide, to procure and distribute sanitary products to their schools, as indicated with a focus on quintile 1 to 3 schools. So I think this then speaks a little bit more to what I touched on earlier. Our department is also part of the South African Coalition on Menstrual Health and Management Education and Health Task Team. So it's quite a mouthful. That again is convened by the Department for Women, Young People, Youth and People with Disability. And this team meets on a quarterly basis to provide guidance on health information and education, and to provide reports and updates on progress made by provincial departments. We as the Department of Health, we do play a role with regards to provision of sanitary pads, but only in as far as providing sanitary towels to girls and young women admitted in our public health facilities, whether that be in our maternity wards, if they're admitted for other indications, but it of course includes young girls and women who are admitted on a long term into some of our mental health hospitals. I think this is our last slide, but really in a nutshell, our view is that we welcome the focus on menstruation, improving information and awareness. We are committed to, through Department of Women, Young People and People with Disabilities, through their structures, working with all government departments and other role players to promote this awareness and empowerment of particularly young girls. And we look to those structures to provide free sanitary pads to our girl learners, in particular in under-resourced schools. Thank you very much, and back to the chairperson.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Bramford, DG, on this part. Just to give a preamble, that this is a program presented by Ms. Ndwandwe that cuts across many departments. Hence, they wrote to the speaker, and some of us, therefore, were actually asked or instructed by the speaker to do listen to Ms. Ndwandwe. So it may as well be another area where we say some of these issues raised cuts across hygiene and dignity, has something to do with social development, something to do with health and women's health, and therefore comes to us. And then just the other department that is very interested to see what are the government departments doing about women. It's the women, children, and people with disabilities. So all those departments, are, according to the speaker, are expected to have an input and do listen to these presentations. So let me then recognize honorable members who would like to comment and then make their inputs on this one. Because of the challenge where I am, Ms. Machalamba, please guide me with the hands that are coming up, and then I will list them according to your seeing the hands as they come up. I see Honorable Clark. I don't know which one came first. Honorable Dr. Leroux and Honorable Treko. Those three hands in that order for now. Honorable Clark, followed by Honorable Dr. Leroux, Honorable Treko. Any other hand from any other honorable member? So far, let us take those three for now.
Yes, Chair. Yes, Chair. It's Honorable Tafen, but hey, this laptop engisebenzisa iyangikhohla. Uthafeni, Chair.
And I go ahead, Chair.
Am I the only one losing you in the meeting?
No, we
I can
can't.
also not hear anything.
Dr. Domo, are you experiencing problems on connections? Can you check on her Vuyokazi? Miss Machalamba, can you check on the chair? Miss Machalamba, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here, Ma'am Treko. I'm still checking. I'm trying to get hold of the chairperson.
Okay.
His phone is on voicemail. His phone is on voicemail, Ma'am Treko. I think he's struggling with the network. Maybe we should just proceed.
Yes, please, because the chair said earlier on that he can experience issues of network.
Can I first request Ms. Ndwandwe to stop sharing the screen? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Majalamba. I believe Dr. Lomo, the chair, has just joined us. I've just admitted the chair.
Also, about that, did you lose me? I thought by the time I'm back, I would have had the Honorable Clerk, she was the one to start, Honorable Clerk, followed by Honorable Dr. Leroux and Honorable Treko, were the three that had raised their hands.
Thank you very much, Chair, and thank you for the presentation. I mean, this is something very dear to my heart as well, because I have really fought this issue from every level of government where I've served over the past 20 years. So when I was a councillor, I submitted a motion that all local clinics should also provide free sanitary pads for young girls, considering what it does to young girls, especially in poverty areas that cannot afford to buy sanitary pads. And I also then tabled a motion when I was in the Gauteng legislature, which was also accepted, that clinics should provide free sanitary pads in terms of this issue for young girls. But that never materialized, Chair. And I really think it's something that we really, as the health department, need to look, as a health committee as well, need to look at. In the presentation, they talk about quintile 1 to 3 schools that receive free sanitary pads. But the landscape in this country has changed so dramatically that I don't know when last schools were actually reassessed, because I often visit schools in my constituency that are quintile 4, and their feeding area very much from poverty-stricken areas. And 80% of the learners within those schools can't afford to pay school fees, and therefore many of their programs, they get public partnership on board to sponsor that. So I think, from that perspective, it is no longer just 1 to 3 quintile schools, no fee-paying schools that suffer with this problem. Many children in other schools come to school hungry, and when girls have got their periods, they just simply don't come to school because they're too embarrassed, because they do not have sanitary pads during that period of time. So I just, this presentation is 100% what I would support completely, because I've just seen what this does to young girls and their lives. And I would appeal to our committee to look how we can support this issue from the Health Committee. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Clerk. Honorable Dr. Leroux.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you to Ms. Ndwandwe and to Dr. Bamford for their presentations. I think that I just wanted to ask two questions, one to Dr. Bamford and then a few to the presenter. I mean, I think the first thing is, I think we all understand that this is an issue that affects vulnerable women. It has an impact on their lives, and it's particularly difficult for women who are in areas of poverty where access of menstrual products are difficult and where they might not be able to afford them. I think the first question for me is to get a sense of how much we are spending on menstrual products for vulnerable women at the moment, and how have we got. So the first question, I don't know if Dr. Bamford can answer this, but is to get a sense of what amount of money has been set aside for this, and I guess the other question, which maybe we can ask both Dr. Bamford and Ms. Ndwandwe, is what would it cost to provide the kind of level of support that is being suggested by this or requested by this presentation? So that would be the first thing, and just to get a sense of. I know we are all everybody's under massive fiscal pressure, and so it's a very important cause, but it's something that perhaps we need to look at, kind of what are the rands and cents practically of this proposal. And then to the to the presenter who, Ms. Ndwandwe, I wanted to get an idea, just that there's a few questions. I'm not entirely clear what you are asking for. Are you asking for free sanitary pads for all vulnerable children? Are you asking for legislation? You also spoke about the harms that some sanitary products do. And again, I'm a bit concerned that we're in a world where we are we see a health secretary in the US who's making all kinds of allegations about vaccines, etc. And if we are making statements about the harms, creation, cervical cancer and issues being caused by sanitary pads, I think it is quite important that we need to have evidence to back that up in a presentation like this. Yeah, and I think also the other question I just had is in terms of alternate products. I mean, menstrual cups is something that some people have advocated for as a reusable, safe, healthy alternative that is I didn't hear anything in terms of the kind of products that can be used. So I'd like to get a sense of her feelings about those things as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Leroux. Honorable Xhego will be followed by Honorable Tafeni, and the last hand I recognize on the platform is that of Honorable Mutubatse. In that order, honorable members, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you very much for this important presentation to us as the Portfolio Committee on Health. I think they are coming up with a very important matter that does not only affect young girls, it also affects the society. I think in their action and campaign, they have made this menstrual poverty issue more a societal challenge than an individual challenge. I thank them very much for bringing this to us as this committee. Also, my thanks will go to the Speaker of the National Assembly for bringing this important matter to the attention of this portfolio committee and other portfolio committees in Parliament. In my other experience, Chairperson, if you can allow me to share, as a teacher in rural areas, in my times, I can confirm that there are still young women out there who lack information and education, including means to buy sanitary towels. And also, I can share the experience that our mothers were fearing even to tell our fathers that young girls have started menstruating, meaning that there is still stigma around menstruation. Thank you that it has been brought to us for the attention of the committee, which means even male counterparts are involved in the matter. Chairperson, I can't agree more with the presenter when it suggests coordination of resources. You see, a lot has been done by individuals, by NGOs, by business in trying to assist in the challenge by providing, donating sanitary towels to organizations such as churches, schools, and other organizations. It means the society has already identified the challenge. I also cannot agree more when they suggest that this can also contribute to job creation because there will be those manufacturing, there will be those buying. It means it says a lot to our community. But my question to the group would be that do they see health as a key driver? They have mentioned other role players like the Department of Women, Youth and Disabilities, the Department of Education, Social Development, and others. As I was listening to the presentation by the department, it satisfied me when they mentioned that they will continue providing to hospitals, to organizations such as centers with that belong to health and other centers which they are providing to. I was satisfied with that explanation. But I think, Chair, for us is to agree on a research that the presenter also recommended. That research need to be conducted on how this period poverty affect rural young women in schools and outside schools. That research can also assist us, but my recommendation would be that can they also lobby other departments? We are lobbied already. We will prioritize what has been put in front of us. We see that the challenge that they have identified is that South Africa has no law regarding this menstrual poverty. This is what they are advocating for. Menstrual health rights bill. We got that. But I think the department has something to do regarding this. We are also lobbied as the portfolio committee on health around this because we have identified a lot on indigent households that find it difficult to buy for their young ones these sanitary towels and the other related material. I think I wanted to bring that to the attention of the meeting, Chairperson. But it is important that we need, as a country, we need to balance issues. This is advantaging women. If the department, if the government is able to make condoms free, how can it be so difficult to make sanitary towels free? That lies on us, Chairperson. That's I wanted to bring that. Thank you very much.
Yeah. After Honorable Tafeni and Honorable Mutubase, I would like to invite you, Ms. Machalamba, just to crystallize the instruction that came from the speaker to us, like it went to other portfolio committees. I would like you to come in just to assist with that part also. It will add value to our discussions. Honorable Tafeni.
Thank you, Chairperson. Good mornings to the members of the committee and also the officials. Chairperson, I want to accept the presentation. My questions, only 2 questions. First, what is the impact on university students of not having pads? And which province are mostly affected by not having free access to pads? Number 2, in your opinion, what should be done to accommodate or support girls and women who experience extremely painful periods? Number 3, and number last, destroying the stigma around periods is an important social need. How is the organization currently addressing this, and is it having success, or is there still a great deal of resistance? I thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much.
Chairperson, my apologies, please. Chairperson.
Yes, Honorable Kleko.
Yes, there's one thing that I forgot to mention. I wanted the group to share experiences of other countries regarding the proposal that they are making, just for information, Chairperson. I wanted them to share if they have an experience of other countries. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Honorable Mutubase, the last hand. Is there any other hand after Honorable Mutubase that I'm missing? Okay, Honorable Mailula, you'll come after Honorable Mutubase. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
No, thanks very much, Chair, and also welcoming the presentations that were made. Mine is just a brief issue. I would want to advocate that perhaps as the committee, we must encourage collaboration with the team, strengthen the bonds, and also increase on our advocacy program around this particular matter and the educational aspects. I think during our outreach programs at the clinics, at the hospitals, we strengthen, I think, the bonds and the educational aspects around this particular issue. And secondly, I would want us to move from being a donor so that we must not treat this particular matter as the by-the-way issue, but it becomes standard that in all our health institutions, we encourage that we find space to budget for the distribution. Alongside, we are able to do this with the condoms. As we are able to do this with the condoms, we must emphasize that with the same breadth and the same strength, we must also have the same attitude and energy towards the distribution of sanitary pads in all the institutions of health. So that's briefly my contribution, Chair. Thanks.
Okay. Okay, may I recognize the last member to contribute? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair. Greetings to the presenters and all committee members. I would really like us as a committee, because the presentation that was made here regarding the sanitary pads, it's a very important and a crucial matter that all of us as committee members here, we really need to rally behind it. And I also want to acknowledge the insightful presentation that was made, because it also brought to our attention that not only us as members of parliament and committee members on health, there are underlying effects and health hazards, especially when we are not taking this issue of sanitary towels very seriously. Because you understand now that young girls, sometimes they miss school, young women as well, they're ashamed of not talking that they do not have sanitary towels. And on top of that, now they are faced with a double problem, whereby if they use any method of sanitary towels that is not health wise and is not regulated, now they will be faced with health complication from as early as young age as 12 years up to maybe their entire life. Such a presentation, when are brought to our attention as members of parliament, I think we are aware that in terms of budget can be there in collaboration with all the stakeholders that are necessary. What we should be looking into as well and engaging thorough is the issue of distribution. That how are we going to distribute these sanitary towels when we acquire them? One of the basic things that we can look into is in terms of, we do have SASSA beneficiaries. We've got all their contacts through when they go and get their grants. So what we can do as one of the methods for us to distribute, because distribution should not come to be like something that blocks this process. It should be something that we do have those children that are receiving grants. They are on the SASSA database. So every mother, when they go every month to collect their SASSA beneficiary money, and you know that this mother has listed about 2 children, they are from the age of 12 or maybe to 16, you know that you need to give them a package of 2 sanitary towel packets or whatsoever. This is one of the things that I'm just thinking about it over my head right now after listening to this presentation, because I believe all members, we are agreeing that how is it possible that condoms are given freely? And at every corner, you find condoms. Our government has invested money to make sure that government are given freely to everyone. Meanwhile, understanding that condoms, they serve a purpose whereby it's a want, it's not a need. But young women, it's not by choice, it is nature that they have to go through a menstrual cycle in each and every month. It's like us, honorable members, we cannot decide that we don't want to eat or drink water. It is nature. It requires us to do so that our system can stay healthy and we can function properly. Even us women and young women, when we go through our cycle, it is something that our system requires us to regulate so that our body can stay effective, and in the future, when we decide that we want to have kids and start families, we are able to do so. So those are the basic things that we should be able to start having serious discussions in all the platforms and engage all necessary people. And also, we need to also give thanks to I think it's Miss Ndwandwe for bringing this to our attention. She also went further and said, not only are we saying children should be given free sanitary towels, we are saying if they are not given free sanitary towels and they cannot afford them, they are going to try other methods, whether they use a towel which is not clean, whether they find a newspaper, they use it. And once that thing gets soaked by the blood that comes out of our vagina, you know that it's going to get inside a young woman's system and there's going to be infections monthly and monthly. I think that is one of the things that we need to be able to understand. Thank you very much, Chair.
Oh, Ms. Machalamba, please come through. Thanks. I requested that you just crystallize like the instruction that came to us, thanking all honorable members before maybe the response, so before I make my input. Ms. Machalamba.
Thank you, Chair. The petition was referred to various committees in Parliament, including Health. It was referred on the 23rd of August, 2024. It was referred to the Portfolio Committee on Women, Youth, and Persons with Disabilities for consideration and report, which means they have considered they are expected to report to the House about this petition, about the progress they have made. And also it was then referred to the Portfolio Committee on Basic Education, Portfolio Committee on Health, Portfolio Committee on Higher Education and Training, and Portfolio Committee on Employment and Labor, and the Standing Committee on Finance for consideration, which means we are not expected to report on the petition. But what I think is important is to get the report that was drafted by the Portfolio Committee on Women so that the committee can know what recommendations they made in their report. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, honorable members, in response to what Ms. Machalamba just said, I think there will be an expectation, I think in summary, that we do get that report of the Portfolio Committee on Women, Children, and People with Disabilities. But again, it will be a very good arrangement if we could just come to hear what these other portfolio committees have done and after citizens and supporting citizens who are all over. They could be at home, at school, in universities, and everywhere. So having had it to the other departments, it would be nice to see and check how we collaborate with that, maybe as part of our parting shots in the space. So we will get some responses from both the department and also from Ms. Ndwande. But Ms. Ndwande, just to support of the things that have raised by honorable members, including Honorable Dr. Leroux, the statement made becomes very powerful and strong if there's backup
We have
evidence
lost
to
you,
it.
Chair.
Can I confirm if it is only Honorable Tlaku has lost me or Oliver has lost me? Hello?
I can hear you, Chair.
We
Chair, I
can
can
hear
hear you well.
Okay, Honorable Tlaku, just get ask them to bring back electricity where you are. I was just saying, Ms. Ndwande, it is very helpful to back up a statement very strongly so moving forward so that we could then be able to win on the issues we are raising. Some of the issues were raised by Honorable Dr. Leroux regarding scientific evidence. I wanted to check, you may not be able to answer this, but maybe Dr. Bramford will assist if there is any scientific link between sanitary pads and endometriosis, or maybe there's any link with that. I was wondering, it would be nice to see what the report is from the Portfolio Committee of Higher Education. But I would rather want to sponsor, to say, let's go on and really advocate for this and move on. But I would also wish that it becomes a package to say, once you enter university, part of your NSFAS must actually support you with 14 Rand per month for sanitary pads so that you can free. Otherwise, if we are actually saying we could also, because we can have a big number, those you can cover, probably not only quintile 1 up to 3, as Honorable Clark has said, go on to support others. If you could actually be able to, I wanted to test to say, what if going forward you can say no, but when somebody has been given NSFAS at a university, can they accommodate at least on that part? Because they are not like a child sitting in Anduli who's that poor and there's no family. There is at least some grant coming for that person now. Can that be taken away from that just 14 Rand per month? I don't know how much it costs for that. And just testing these issues. What is probably not having a problem with those and those that are available in clinics. But have you started how widely distributing or supporting in your clinics and hospitals? You could pick and choose who responds first, Ms. Ndwande or the department. Maybe let's do it in the same order that today's presentations. Ms. Ndwande, you start first, and then the Department of Health will also support us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dlomo, and all the honorable members for all the questions and the feedback. Thank you for supporting the call. I'll just, even though I don't think I'm mandated to share the information, but based on the information and the feedback that has been shared by the Department of Women, having adopted the minutes that we've sat and we've discussed the matter around calling for a menstrual health rights bill and law, they've supported we had a joint portfolio committee meeting between the Department of Basic Education and Department of Health in Parliament in Cape Town. I think it was last year in November, if I'm not mistaken. And they've also adopted...
Hold on. Ms. Ndwande, you not made a mistake. We had a joint meeting between Department of Health, or were you meaning that health and
No, sorry, I meant the portfolio. Sorry, portfolio. We had a joint meeting with the Portfolio Committee on Basic Education and the Department of Higher Education and Training. Sorry, did I say the Department of Health? Apologies there. So we had a joint committee meeting, and one of the recommendations that stood out is that we need to have a colloquium whereby we have various organizations, various departments come together. And I think I also want to touch on that in terms of, I think Dr. LaRue mentioned that, as well as Dr. Lomo, that the presentation needed some form of scientific research or included in presentation. I'd just like to mention that the reason why I deliberately left out the scientific research, even though we have all this knowledge and information, having done our research, having spoken to various activists across Africa, across the globe, having marched against multinationals using the power of social media to say that their products are actually causing rashes, they are causing discomfort. The contents in the menstrual products, and some of these menstrual products are not organic. So I wish to emphasize that they're not organic. They include toxic chemicals like your toxic dioxins, which have an impact on the vagina in the medical aspects, in the sense that the vagina is a breathing organism, so it absorbs everything that you put in your underwear, including a menstrual product. So if a menstrual product is made of recycled material that is used from bleached chemicals, pesticides, all kinds of these toxic dioxins, then it's going to have a negative impact on the woman's health, on the organism itself. So I'd say that I'd encourage that as whether we adopt or not adopt the minutes, that we also have taken into consideration what the Department of Basic Education and the Department of Higher Education has recommended, that we actually have a colloquium and we come together and we have these important conversations, and then we'll bring the scientific facts. I will bring my academic activists who also have written dissertations and research on the fact that poor quality menstrual products have a negative impact on women's health. It's so strange that yes, there's that whole topic of that some things can be genetically or inherently passed on from one generation to another. However, there's also the fact that the lived experiences, my personal experiences with the poor quality menstrual products, some of these menstrual products which are recommended by multinationals and are advertised as good quality, but are actually poor quality. Some of them are actually not even organic cotton, but they're advertised as organic cotton, which is, misrepresentation, which is something that is illegal, which is why we're calling for a menstrual health rights bill and law to actually regulate the sector. And I believe that the Department of Women also agreed with me on the fact that even these products that are actually in retailers are actually not even regulated. And so something has to be done around on that. So to respond to Dr. LaRue, without taking too much time, we are actually calling for a menstrual health rights bill and law. We're calling for a comprehensive legislation. We're calling for a comprehensive policy across all socioeconomic spheres. We want accommodative policies in the workplace, accommodative policies in civil spaces and public spaces that actually normalize menstrual health. Menstrual health and hygiene management is a very broad topic. It touches on education. It touches on clean water and safe sanitation. It touches on women empowerment, unemployment, job creation. So I think we need to have a further engagement and a further discussion as to how we're going to actually create some form of impact going forward in society. And so the reason why the presentation is based on a grassroots approach is because I wanted to deliberately put out the lived experiences of individuals in society, that this is a societal issue, and it's not more of a theoretical issue to say that, well, is this really true or not true? The reality out there is the fact that we have a dire issue on our hands. Women are missing out on school due to lack of access to menstrual products, and also the use of poor quality menstrual products. Some women are using newspapers. Some women are using trees, bark of trees, which is not hygienic or healthy for women and young girls. So this is something we need to actually engage on and discuss and actually put some form of plan of action to actually eradicate period poverty. And so I also acknowledge and I'm grateful for the recommendation that I should put forward scientific research going forward. And when I meet other committees like your National Treasury and other committees, I'll definitely put forward, as I've done previously before, when we push forward for the South African government to set aside national government expenditure, we put forward costs, we put forward the fact that the population, majority of the population, over 51% of the population are women, and we want free menstrual products for all women and young girls because menstruation is a natural biological process. It is not a choice. It happens naturally. And thank you to Xeko from the ANC for your question around health. Yes, health is a key driver. We need the medical experts. We need the medical expertise. We need the research from the Department of Health. We need the help from the Department of Health to actually regulate the information that is going out there, the information which can be scientifically backed, to say that, well, here are menstrual health related illnesses. We've done our research and we found that whether the hypothesis by Dr. Sibongiseni Dlomo, who questioned whether there's actually a direct link between the quality of menstrual products and menstrual health related illnesses or even cervical cancer. So we need the Department of Health to actually champion this fight with us, with the expertise and the knowledge around the fact that, you know, menstrual health is an important issue. We have an issue around quality menstrual products. We have an issue around education. We have an issue around safe sanitation, clean water, access for all women and young girls. And again, thank you, Xeko, for your question around the fact that we've worked with global activists. I've worked with my friend and fellow activists, from the Scottish Parliament, MP Monica Lennon, who championed the legislation for free menstrual products in Scotland, and it was approved because we believe that period poverty does not discriminate. Whether you're in a rich country or a poor country, menstruation affects all women across all racial backgrounds, across all socioeconomic spheres. And thank you again, Nolu from the EFF. Yes, we've done menstrual health rights workshops. We've been doing it for over years now. You know, sometimes I feel like I'm repeating myself when I'm presenting to different spheres. Been fighting for the eradication of period poverty for a very long time, that I feel like, you know, it's not a matter of, you know, speaking in front of, you know, Parliament or speaking in front of, you know, an authority member in government, but it's a matter of the fact that we need action. We need more work on the ground. We need distribution of free menstrual products. We need a legislation. We need to regulate the products that are out there in retailers or that are being sold in spaza shops or out there in the market. We need accommodative policies. We need leave policies. We need to acknowledge the fact that women do experience menstrual health related illnesses like your endometriosis, your PCOCs, your fibroids. And it's also mainly due to the type of menstrual products that women use, because a vagina is a breathing organism and it absorbs whatever products or materials that are put down there by young girls, women, and all menstruators. And so, yes, we need that assistance. We need the Department of Health to come on board. I've worked with global organizations. I've been to the General National Assembly with the UN Women, championing for global society to actually invest in women and young girls when it comes to eradicating period poverty. And so I've worked with global media as well, the BBC World News. We've went down to rural communities. We've had the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation sponsor journalists to come down and actually speak to young girls in rural communities, because our own journalists in the country often feel that they do not either have the funds or they do not feel like, you know, their journalism is worth of actually going down to rural communities and actually speaking to the voices of the voiceless. Because as much as I am the voice of the voiceless, I also intentionally want the voices of the voiceless to actually be heard and to actually have these lived experiences be documented so that everyone could see that we have an issue on our hands, that it's not just some made up theory, that period poverty is not just some opinion, it's actually a lived experience. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, no, thank you very much, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members. I'll request Dr. Bamford to come in. Thank you very much.
Thank you, DG. Thank you for the questions. I think there was only one question that was directed or direct question, and then I have two comments to make. So the first question was about the cost. So we certainly don't have detailed costing. I think there would be more information provided by the Department of Women, Youth and People with Disabilities. However, just back of an envelope, we have approximately 5 million girl learners in our high schools. Probably about so we have about 2.5 million girl learners in our high schools. Probably at least 1.5 or a little bit more, 1.5 million or a little bit more would be in quintile 1 to 3 schools, and estimating at about 12 to 14 rand per learner per month, then the figure comes up to round about 200 to 250 million rand. But obviously that would need to be looked at in much more detail. I think one of the issues and concerns is around distribution costs. And I think from our perspective, that's one of the good reasons to distribute through schools is that there are already good distribution systems for distribution of other items through the Department of Basic Education distribution infrastructure to all of their schools. Just two comments. I think this issue is important. Claims are being made about the relationship between use of unsuitable sanitary products and illnesses. I do think that these claims do need to be looked at very carefully. Within the Department of Health, we do have experts who have a lot of expertise at looking at health technology assessment, looking at evidence, and I'm sure some of them would be willing to engage with some of these claims. Clearly, this issue needs to be addressed from a dignity point of view, but we do need to make sure that any claims we make around causation of illnesses are backed up by very robust evidence. Linked to that, I think from Department of Health, another area that we should be focusing on is making sure that we do have very well-defined packages of care for young girls and women who do experience conditions such as endometriosis. So women who are experiencing unusually heavy menstruation. We do have guidelines in those areas, but there's always work to be done to improve those guidelines and to make sure that they are fully implemented across all of our facilities. The final comment then, I think from our side, is that we do support a coordinated response. And as I indicated previously, our sense is that the structure that has been set up with Department of Women, Youth and People with Disabilities is a good coordinating structure, and that we should use that structure to make sure that each department and the various organizations are aware of their roles and responsibilities and implement those in a coordinated way. With that, let me hand back to our DG.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bamford. Honorable Chair, we would like to engage further with Ms. Ndwandwe, just to specifically through the coordinating committee led by the Department of Women, Youth and Disabilities, but specifically with ourselves, Dr. Bamford here, on matters that we would like to assist on in terms of as a department, and just share the ideas on how we can improve on the currently available services. That will be all from us, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members.
Okay. Thank you very much. Before I close, and some if I'm audible now at this point where I am. Am I audible?
No, Chair.
Am I audible, Ms. Machalamba?
No, Chair, you are not.
Okay.
Your
Let
line
me
is
move
muted.
around. Okay. You will tell me when it improves. I have to move
Is it
around
better
where
now,
I
Chair?
am. It's better. Okay. Yeah. May I therefore request just actually to check, we seem to be the last department of those that were identified to deal with this matter. And I'm glad, honorable members, you agreed to have this meeting. We should actually acknowledge that the anchor here is the Department of Youth, Women, Youth and People with Disabilities. If we had, maybe Ms. Machalamba can assist us. The report from that department was 80 if we could maybe access it. But honorable members, it will also help to say what were the things that were discussed with the Department of Higher Education, Basic Education and Employment and Labor, so that we could go on in this space that is agreed upon here, suggested by Dr. Bramford, of being a coordinate, to get a coordinated response, whether we getting the sanitary pads, we have a bill coming into Parliament. It may not necessarily be sponsored by us and us alone. So I was going to employ that all of us here as Portfolio Committee of Health, we get a report from the department that is Youth, Women and People with Disabilities portfolio, and any of the other comments from these other portfolio committees. We are seized with that information, and then we take it there, that we also enrich us to continue to be part of a coordinated response. And you might as well come in, maybe through chairs, indicate that can the coordination be done by a particular department. Looking forward to maybe once a joint committee meetings where all of us will be there, and then we take the response going forward. Because I do agree, it should be a coordinated collective response. Being part of it, we are the last committee to be brought into this. Of course, it was us pushing this one back when the speaker had asked us to deal with it. There were other pressures. But now that honorable members were on board, let us also make our contribution through a collective coordinated response that will be championed by by Portfolio Committee of Youth, Women and People with Disabilities. If you do agree with that, or maybe you want to amend what I've just said in summary, please can I get a comment from the honorable members? I will then pick and choose. Honorable Leroux, Dr. Leroux, what you say?
Thank you, Chair. I'm happy with that approach. I think I do want to emphasize that I think that lived experience, which has been very well presented by the presenter, is important. But I think if we make decisions on issues, particularly around products, we need to make decisions based on evidence. And I think I would just urge for that to be part of our process. But no, I think this is a very worthy cause. It's a cause that affects a huge proportion of our population. It is a societal problem, and so I'm very happy with the approach that you've proposed, Chair. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. What I proposed, Dr. Leroux, seems to be supporting. Any other additions or a different view from honorable members? Okay. If not, let us therefore end with this note. Ms. Machalamba, you'll support us to bring us those.
Ma'am Kleko's hand is up, Chair.
Yeah. Ma'am, Honorable Kleko.
No, Chair, I'm not differing from your summary. I was to support it. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Thank you very much. Ms. Machalamba, myself and you will coordinate and make sure that we update the members with whatever report that we get from these various portfolio committees, and therefore we are on board and indicate to the coordinator, who is a portfolio committee chair of youth, women and people with disabilities, or the speaker, that we are also ready to now make our collective response in a coordinated collective sort of joint meetings. Honorable members, that brings us to the end of our meeting, and thank you very much to Ms. Ndwandwe, and thanks to the department for also coming in to enrich the discussion, and to all of you honorable members. Thank you very much for your participation, and thanks
We
that
need
you
to
actually.
adopt minutes, Chair, sorry.
No, there's a difficulty with that. We'll wait for the other members to be part of us. Are those minutes critical, Ms. Machalamba? Maybe let's release Honorable Honorable Ms. Ndwandwe and the Department of Health. You are now released. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure, Ms. Machalamba.
There's no pressure, Chair, but we do have a quorum. We can adopt them. But if you're saying we must adopt them in the next meeting, it's okay.
How many sets of minutes do you have?
One, Chair.
Okay. If honorable members are agreeable, I don't want to, when I can't read from this gadget, so I'm using the same gadget through the minutes, Ms. Machalamba. I can't see. I can't see.
It's just the minutes of our previous meeting, Chair, when the department was presenting first, second, and third quarter reports.
No, if that is that I'm struggling, but unless someone wants to assist me, I have the same gadget that I'm having a meeting with to read. I can't read the word on the minutes. Have you flattered the minutes, Ms. Machalamba?
I
Chair,
can't hear you, Chair.
Chair is saying you must flight the minutes. Ms. Machalamba?
Yeah, can I suggest, because I think it will be disadvantaging the chair that we defer this minutes to the next meeting.
Yeah, I agree on that because
I really
I would
thanks,
also support us
Honorable.
deferring it to the next meeting.
Thanks, Honorable. Yes, let's do the minutes, Ms. Machalamba. I'm really struggling to keep into this difficulty. Yeah. Thank you very much, Honorable members. Let's adjourn our meeting for today. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Chair. Thanks, members. Thanks to everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.